All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to unpack the tragic myth behind the Mahalima Challenge. It's a story that starts with 5 brothers and ends with an entire world being reshaped by grief. A legend all about brotherhood, sacrifice, and a sorrow so deep it demanded eternal war. So, our story kicks off with this incredibly powerful idea: a brotherhood that wasn't about blood, but was forged by the sea and steeled for war. This bond, right here, it defines the 5 legendary figures at the absolute heart of this myth, the Eternal Five. Now, before all the fighting, the Sulubasi people were living in a true golden age. Picture a paradise, a time of total peace. But, as you can guess, that peace was about to be absolutely shattered by invaders, forcing 5 brothers to become living, breathing weapons of war. And here they are, the whole crew, basically broken down into their battlefield roles. You've got Pablo, the brilliant commander, the brains of the operation; Josh, the unbreakable wall; Justin, the healer, the soul; Stell, the terror from afar; and Ken, the silent ghost. Together, they were a perfect unit. But as we're about to see, their fates are all tangled together. And it is tragic.
So that golden age, it didn't just fade away. It came to a crashing halt. These ironclad ships from Germania arrived, and they were followed by fleets from France and Spain. Suddenly, the paradise of the Sulabasi became a battlefield, and any victory was going to come at a devastating cost. The first domino to fall was Josh the Wall. His sacrifice was just one of pure endurance. Think about this. He didn't fight back. He just stood there and absorbed the enemy's entire onslaught, becoming a living shield to protect his brothers, the ultimate defensive act.
Next up was Justin, the soul. While Josh was the shield, Justin was the healer. But his magic, wow, it came with a heavy, heavy price. To mend his brother's wounds, he literally had to give his own life force, unraveling his spirit until there was absolutely nothing left. As the invasion changed, so did their tactics. Enter Stell, the arrow. From high up on the cliffs, his goal wasn't just to kill, it was to create pure chaos and terror. He crippled the enemy command by literally pinning captains to the masts of their own ships, a strategic and utterly terrifying show of power. And while Stell owned the skies, Ken had the ground completely locked down. He was the ghost, a counter-assassin just melting into the jungles, making sure no enemy could ever gain a foothold. He protected his home with brutal, silent efficiency. And here is where the entire legend just pivots. 4 brothers had fallen. Only one was left, Pablo, the strategist. And losing his entire brotherhood didn't just break his heart, it completely shattered his mind. You can see the transformation so clearly here. The calculated strategist who used the ocean and the land as weapons, he vanished. In his place rose the wolf, a creature running on nothing but pure rage. He was no longer fighting to protect anyone. He was fighting because he had nothing left. His grief had become his one and only weapon. And the wolf's rage was enough. He drove back the final invaders. He actually won the war. But victory brought him no peace at all. He hated the silence. He truly believed that a world without conflict dishonored the memory of his fallen brothers. So, to make sure their sacrifice would never be forgotten, he literally carved his grief into the land itself. He shattered the world, creating a land of beginnings and a land of endings, with a battlefield, Mahalima, right in the middle. And there, he decreed a ritual of eternal conflict, a challenge of 5 against 5, to echo his lost brotherhood for all time. And that right there is the heart of this legend. The Mahalima Challenge isn't a sport. It's not a game. It is a monument. It's a ritual born from one man's inability to live in a world without the brothers he lost, designed to make sure no one ever gets to experience peace if it means forgetting their sacrifice. But this story doesn't just end with the wolf howling in his grief. In the quiet years after the war, a brand new chapter began for Pablo, one that would force him to confront a duty that went way beyond his sorrow. A child, just abandoned at his home with only a cryptic promise of return. The man who had created an arena of death was suddenly faced with a new life. And in that one moment, the warrior became a guardian. So Pablo raised the boy as his own, passing down not just the arts of war, but the art of thinking. When the boy turned 7, he gave him a bracelet from the sacred cave where the Eternal Five first swore their oath, a direct link to a legacy the boy didn't even understand yet. He never told the boy about the wars, or about the arena built from his own sorrow. He only offered this one, simple, prophetic warning. It's a father's love, but it's also the heavy, heavy burden of a legacy about to be passed on. And that child, the heir to the wolf's sorrow and his strength. The boy raised in the shadow of the Mahalima challenge. His name was Carl. And so we're left with this question, right? Pablo built an entire world order out of grief and rage. But in raising Carle, he introduced something completely new into that equation: love and duty. And it leaves you wondering if that love can actually transform the very foundation of the world he created.